Bonsoir tout le monde. Madame Mayo here. All right, we're going to do mot de for chapter 3 now. This you will find the list on page 14 in your chapter 3 packet. Again, continuing with la technologie. And now we're going to talk about the telephone. And again, just to remind you guys, a lot of this stuff is pretty old-fashioned. So you might want to show your parents some of these pictures and ask some questions. We're going to start with the telephone.
Le téléphone.
Okay, same word, it's cognate.
Le téléphone.
And it's masculine.
Une cabine téléphonique.
So this is a phone booth, what we call a phone booth. You can see here this is a glass door. France Télécom, that says. That's the name of the phone company in France. Telephone booth.
Faire un appel téléphonique. Donner un coup de fil.
This is two different ways to say to make a phone call. Un appel by itself is a call, a phone call. Appeler, the verb appeler means to call. When you make it reflexive, s'appeler, je m'appelle, it means I call myself, or she calls herself, elle s'appelle. Faire un appel téléphonique means to make a phone call. Donner un coup de fil. Un coup de fil is the same thing as un appel. It also means a phone call. And I have to tell you that this word fil here is referring actually to this line, believe it or not. Now, if you remember back when you learned about soccer, donner un coup de pied dans le ballon, ou un coup de tête dans le ballon, to give a hit of foot, to give a hit of the head. Here it's to give a hit of the line. It's just a way to say things in French. Both of these things mean to make a phone call.
Faire un appel téléphonique. Donner un coup de fil. Une télécarte.
So in France, when you want to use a public phone, you don't use coins, you don't use cash. You have to purchase what's called a télécarte. And you actually buy these in stores in the cities that are called les tabacs, T-A-B-A-C, which actually means tobacco. But what they sell there are all kinds of things. It's like a newsstand type store, if you will. You can buy gum and stuff like that. And you can get your telecartes there, and you put money on them, whatever amount that you want to put on them. You can recharge them, just like Metro cards in the subway system in New York. So this is a telecard. You can write telecard, or a phone card. You could write a phone card.
Une télécarte. Mettre la télécarte dans la fente.
La fente. This is the slot. So if you look right here, you'll see this little slot she's putting that card in. To put the phone card into the slot. That's what you want to write there, to put the phone card into the slot. And again, if you need more room, I did give you some extra pages here in this packet to write down your vocab if you go maybe ahead a little bit in the packet. Okay.
Un annuaire.
So an annuaire, that means like an annual thing. This is the phone book. And les pages blanches is the white pages specifically. The white pages is usually where you will find residential listings, people's houses, their address, name, address, phone. We don't really use these so much anymore. In fact, most people today don't even memorize phone numbers the way we did back when I was a kid. Still remember my phone number from when I was a kid. So annuaire, that's a phone book.
Un portable.
So portable, this is a cell phone. I know you're laughing, Madame Mayo, that does not look like a cell phone, but it is. Another word for cell phone is a mobile, mobile. They use that word a lot in England, so they use it in France as well. The two countries tend to use each other's languages a lot, and there's a lot of crossover. So a mobile, or a mobile, which is masculine, is also un portable, which is a cell phone.
Une pièce de monnaie.
So you know what these are? These are euros. And in France, their change comes in these denominations. This is 2, and they're called, these here, the 2, 5, and 10, and 50, they're called centime, centime. And they're kind of like the same thing as our cents, like 1 cent, 2 cents, 5 cents. The 1 and the 2 here, that's €1 and €2. So that's like our $1 bill, if you will. They don't have $1 bills in France. The €1 is a coin, and €2 is a coin. And then after that, you have your bills start with €5. So pièce de monnaie means a piece of change.
Une pièce de monnaie.
All right, monnaie on its own means change.
Un téléphone à touche.
So we have all kinds of telephones, right? A téléphone à touche is what we call a touch-tone phone. That used to be pretty modern. I know, it's old. Touch-tone phone.
Décrocher.
So décrocher, when you décroche, that means you're picking up the phone, okay? Think of it as like taking it out, disengaging the phone. Décroche, you're picking up the phone.
Attendre la tonalité.
You remember attendre, it means to wait. It's a regular RE verb, it means to wait for, actually. It means to wait for. And la tonalité, that's the dial tone, what we call the dial tone. To wait for the dial tone.
Composer le numéro. Faire le numéro.
Composer is to compose. You can also use faire with it interchangeably here as an idiomatic expression with faire. That means to dial or to compose the number. And they're talking about the phone number. To dial the phone number.
Raccrocher.
This means to hang up. So you're hanging up again. Raccrocher. Hang up.
Un répondeur automatique.
This is an automatic answerer, so what we call an answering machine. An answering machine. Now you can see in this picture that phone numbers look really different in France than they do here. And we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. 33 here in the parentheses, that's what's called a country code. Can you guess what the country code for the United States is? Do you have any idea? For France, it's number 33. For the United States, our country code is 01. Do you know why? Can you guess why? It's because the telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell, and he was American. So the first country code is or belongs to the U.S. All right, let's look at the rest of this phone number here.
Un numéro de téléphone.
That is a phone number.
L'indicatif du pays.
Pays means country, okay? This is the country code, if you will, the country code.
L'indicatif régional.
And this is a regional code. So in France, you have all these départements. So if you think about New York State, how it has counties, and the U.S. has states, in France, they have départements. They kind of like look kind of like our counties or our states. And so those are the regions of France. And these first two numbers here, this I think says 01, which stands for Ile de Paris, which is Paris, the department that Paris is in. Number 1 there. That is the regional code. All right, so that tells you where in France you're calling. So for my friends in Provence, if I call them, I have to dial 06. 06 is for Provence. And then the rest of this number, that's their phone number.
Le bon numéro.
So this means the right number. It looks like the good number, and that's what it is. You know, when you dial the right number, or you can dial
Le mauvais numéro. Une erreur.
the wrong number, an error. Okay. Now, one thing to notice about telephone numbers in French, another difference between French and English. In English, we say our number is 534 6789, right? We say the numbers individually. Each chiffre, each digit or number, we say differently. But in French, you say it by tens. So this would be 44, 20, I think that is. Is that a 20? 20, 60, and then 98 for 98. All right, 44, 20, 60, 98. That's how they say their phone number in France.
Quel est le numéro de téléphone de Manu?
So she wants to know what Manu's phone number is. This is an interrogative adjective. You learned about these in 8th grade. It means which. It's a question word, but it's also an adjective, and it's going to agree with the noun that it's referring to. So this is the masculine singular form because it's referring to le numéro de téléphone. What is the phone number of Manu? See these deux, de, de. This is how we show possession in French, remember? What is the number of phone of Manu? Basically, how we show possession in French. Remember, there is no such thing as an apostrophe S in French to show possession. It's de, or a possessive adjective like mon mamé, ton tate, son sase.
C'est le 01 44 20 60 98.
Told ya, that's how they do it.
Zut, ça sonne occupé.
Zut means darn. It's ringing busy. So in other words, that's how you say it's busy. Now, again, this is something you guys have probably never heard of before when you call someone and you get a busy signal because everybody has call waiting. That means if you're on the phone and somebody calls you, you get a little beep and you can, on your phone, you can hit switch, or on your phone at home, you can click a button and it'll switch over to the other phone and put the first person on hold. That's what call waiting is. Before they had that, you would get a busy signal if you called a house and that person was on the phone, and it sounds like this. It's really annoying. So she's saying, oh, it's busy, darn, it's busy.
Quand Nathalie était petite, elle aimait bien parler au téléphone.
All right, there's Natalie. She's with her dad. They're in a phone booth. This is a funny looking little word here. Can you guess what verb it is? What verb does it look like? It looks like être. And you're right, it is être. It's in a new tense that we're going to be learning in this chapter, a new past tense. It's called the imparfait or the imperfect. When Natalie was little, she really liked to speak or to talk on the telephone. When Natalie was little, she really liked to talk on the telephone. So this is the verb aimer, to like. You see this ending, this A-I-T, A-I-T. That's what's telling me I'm in the past tense, I'm in the imparfait. And this is verb plus infinitive. So even when you have the imparfait here, you can still follow that verb with a second verb in the infinitive. And remember, the verb aimer very often is followed by another verb in the infinitive because it means to like to do something. So when Natalie was little, she liked, or she really liked, to speak on the telephone.
Elle se servait souvent du téléphone.
Se servir. You know that servir means to serve, right? When we make it reflexive, it means to use. It means to serve yourself. She uses often the telephone. So we take se servir, we take the preposition de, se servir de, and it means the same thing as utiliser, to use. Why is it du? I had to contract my de, that comes from se servir de. I had to contract de with the le that would normally come in front of téléphone. All right, so de plus le is du, as you know. She often, souvent is often, she often used the telephone. All right, so there's a lot going on in this sentence. Se servir de plus le from téléphone equals du.
Elle voulait toujours téléphoner à son grand-père.
She always wanted, this is vouloir in the imparfait. She always wanted to telephone her grandfather. And again, we use téléphoner with a, just like répondre, to telephone to someone or to call to someone. She always wanted to telephone or to call her grandfather. Téléphoner à is to call someone.
Mais elle ne savait pas faire le numéro.
But she didn't know how to dial the number. Remember, savoir plus infinitive is to know how to do something? Well, that's what this is here. She didn't know how to dial the number.
Alors son père l'aidait à faire le numéro.
Alors, this means so. So her father helped her. This L apostrophe is standing in the place. This is la, but I had to use an apostrophe because of the A and a day, is standing in place of L. It's a pronoun replacing this pronoun, okay? Her father helped her to dial the number. All right, that a there, à faire, aider à faire, to help to do something. All right, so aider takes the preposition à after it as well in front of an infinitive. So we're going to be seeing more and more of that as we go on. So her father helped, past tense, her dial the number.
Allô? Bonjour, madame. Je voudrais parler à monsieur Berthollet, s'il vous plaît.
So when French people say hello on the phone, they don't say bonjour. They say allô. Allô, bonjour, madame. Hello, hello, ma'am. Je voudrais parler. This is the conditional of vouloir. You've learned it before when you learned how to order something in a restaurant. Je voudrais un café, s'il vous plaît. I would like to speak to Monsieur Berthollet, s'il vous plaît. All right, so again, vouloir is very often followed by a second verb in the infinitive, like pouvoir, like aimer. I would like to speak to Monsieur Berthollet, please, s'il vous plaît, if you please, if it pleases you.
C'est de la part de qui?
Wow, listen to that again.
C'est de la part de qui?
She just mushed all those words together. So it looks like it says it is on the part of whom, basically. This is how you ask, who's calling? Who is it? Now we know that to say who is it, we usually say qui est, but when you're on the telephone, you say c'est de la part de qui. So you can just write who is it. It's really like saying it's on whose behalf.
De Christophe Dupont.
And when you answer that question, because of this here, this de here, de qui, you have to put de in front of your name. So if I were to call your home and I would say, can I speak to my student, please? And your mom or dad or somebody, your sister, your brother, I don't know, your cat, your dog said, c'est de la part de qui? I would say, de Madame Mayo. All right, you got to have that de there.
Un instant, monsieur. Ne quittez pas.
One moment, sir. Don't leave. In other words, don't hang up. So we use the word quitter. You remember quitter la maison before you go to school? Je quitte la maison. I quit the house. I leave the house. We use it here on the telephone too to tell somebody not to hang up, not to leave. Ne quittez pas. Don't hang up. Don't leave.
Désolé, monsieur, mais il n'est pas là. Je regrette.
Désolé means sorry. Je suis désolé. I'm sorry. Sorry, sir, but he isn't here. This la means there, T-H-E-R-E, but it also means here, H-E-R-E. He isn't here. Je regrette. I'm sorry. Two ways to say sorry. Désolé and je regrette. Je suis désolé or je regrette. I regret. Sorry, sir, but he isn't here. I'm sorry.
Ce n'est pas grave. Je vais rappeler demain.
Ce n'est pas grave. Or in French, they usually say c'est pas grave, c'est pas grave. It means it's not serious. Okay? It isn't serious. It isn't serious. Je vais rappeler demain. You recognize this construction? Aller plus infinitive. That is how we use the future proche. Aller conjugated plus a second verb in infinitive talks about something you're going to do soon. I am going to call back. So appeler without the R is to call. Rappeler with the R is to call back. And demain, as you know, is tomorrow. All right, so I think that does it for mot de. You guys were really patient. I knew that took about 20 minutes, so sorry about that. Remember, go back and just listen for pronunciation and repeat after the speaker so you can practice. And when we see each other in class, we will work on some exercises and activities together. Bonne soirée, mes amis. Au revoir.